actually totally different.
I'm
But
taller,
you
much taller.
you both speak very fast. So if you really liked what we just finished off with, we get another amazing from the same genetic line here. This is Seth Campbell. He's a Pro 9 in the company. And I'm so excited to hear your story and see what we've been so inspired by him. So give it up for Seth.
Thanks for inviting me to come here. Every time I'm around Seth, well, have you ever seen Time Cop? Jean-Claude Van Damme, anybody? That movie was out before anybody in this room was born. There's a thing in the movies about time travel, and if you get around you from the past, it blows everything up. The universe explodes. So every time I get in the same room with Seth Mulder, I try to stay away. I don't want the universe to explode. So that might happen. But anyway, real quick, I'm gonna break a little bit from this. I'm not gonna tell my story. Is that okay? I'll do it really, really quick. Okay, here's my story. I was 24. Like Vanessa, I'm from Denver. I was 24 years old when I started, and I was broke. And I joined Life Vantage, and I've been doing it for 7 years. We're Pro 9s now, and now I'm very much not broke. Very much not. What I want to do instead is, if I may, really quick, there's some stuff that's kind of been burning on my mind. If I could just offer you guys, those of you who are young, how many of you have been in the business for less than 6 months? Raise your hand. Okay. Anybody in here less than 6 days? There's somebody. So really quick, I'd like to, if I may, offer you just a couple of things, because I'm really a simple-minded guy, which is my fancy way of saying I'm not very smart. I'm not the sharpest guy in the world. I think that I have just one tiny little skill, one skill. That's the only skill I really have, but I think it can lead to every other skill you might need to pick up in network marketing. So I want to just offer you, if I can, one skill and then one discipline that have made all the difference for me, okay? And the first of all, the skill is this. It's the only skill I think you need when you start off in Life Vantage. You're going to pick up the rest of them if you have this. You just have the skill of observation. You need to be really good at observing people. The blessing that I've had in the last 7 years is I've had some really good mentors, and I've had the opportunity to watch a lot of people. And I've had the opportunity to watch a lot of people have massive success, like this gentleman right here, who's always wearing a Real Salt Lake jersey. Every time I see him, it's a Real Salt Lake jersey, in cowboy boots. But this guy right here is one of them. I've gotten to watch people go ahead of me and have massive success. And I've got to talk to them. I've got to watch the way they behave and all that stuff. And I've also, unfortunately, I've seen people not have success. I've seen people fail. And I've had the chance to watch them as well. And if you can just observe the few that succeed and observe observe the masses who don't. And I know that sounds depressing to say the masses, but you guys have all heard the phrase that gets bounced around in network marketing: observe the masses and do the opposite, right? By doing that, I've been able to figure out all the other skills just by watching. You'll get the chance to do that if you just watch. Here's the one practice I just want to offer you guys. The one thing that I've seen as I've watched these successful people, when I say, I'm just talking about the Pro 10s. I try to model my behavior after the Pro 10s because I'd really like to be one of them. I think Bob Proctor revealed some stuff to me that showed me why I'm still one rank below them, and I kind of get it now a little bit more. What about Bob Proctor? What do you guys think? I hope you young whippersnappers understand how big of a deal that was to sit at the feet of Bob Proctor for 2 hours. That was a big deal. I hope you took notes. Oh yeah. And because you're not going to remember anything he said tomorrow if you didn't. If you didn't take notes, find someone who took notes and ask if you can pay them, and they'll Xerox their notes for you. Okay? Get some notes, and I hope that you study. Most people don't study their notes. Most people take notes and they feel like they did their part. I hope you study your notes. Open those things back up and read them. Okay? That was a really big deal to have him here. So here's the practice and the discipline I've picked up from watching these individuals that I've noticed. I've realized that most people don't do. Most people don't have a filter. You have to have a filter. That's the thing that I think was lacking for me for the first 24 years of my life, was a filter. Most people, and I see it even in Life Vantage. Most people still don't have a filter. You have to put, if you don't have a filter, you have to put one in. Okay. And here's what I mean by that. I know those of you who have seen my dad speak in a premier school or anything like that, you're like, what are you talking about? Skip doesn't have a filter. I don't mean that. He doesn't have the filter that blocks the stuff that's coming out. That's why you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. I'm talking about the filter that blocks the stuff that's going in. Okay? There's a couple of small little practices that have made all the difference for me. All right? And one of them is this. If you can just make this your mantra, apply this, repeat this in your head thousands of times, it'll affect the way that you view everything else. Opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Napoleon Hill said that. Okay? Opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Opinions are worth absolutely nothing. They're worth nothing. As a matter of fact, I'll take it a step farther. I think opinions can cost you money if you spend time listening to them. Okay? It's funny because you hear, what's the phrase you always hear people say when they're going to give you their opinion? What do they always say? Can I give you my 2 cents? And I always chuckle because I'm like, it's really generous of you to apply such a high price tag to what you're about to say. I'm sure it's not worth 2 cents. Go ahead, knock yourself out. Here's the point, and it's going to sound really harsh, all right? Here's what I think you need to do. You need to pick a handful of people who have the results you want, okay? And I'll just tell you how I've done. I've got a handful of people. I've got probably almost maybe a dozen people at the most who I know that I want what they have. I know that I want to become more like them. I know I want to think like them. I know I want to get their results. I know that I want to model myself after some part of those individuals, okay? And so everything they say, I listen to. I write it down, and I try to apply it, okay? And everybody outside of that dozen, I do not listen to anything that they have to say or think. It's a very, very strict thing in my mind. Because I know that if I do, I'll suddenly have my mind filled with whatever people want to put in there. That's the filter. You guys have to pick a few people that you want to become like, or that you want to get the results that they've had, or something like that. Those are your mentors. Those are the people that you listen to. Those are the people that you follow. Okay? And then everybody else in the world, there's 6 billion. So you're going to have 5.999 billion people that you don't listen to. Can you do that? I know that sounds harsh. Some of you might be thinking, that's really closed-minded. It's very closed-minded. Don't let your mind be too open to everyone else's opinions, okay? I mean open-minded in a different way. Obviously, you're open-minded because you're here. But if your mind is open and you're letting everybody dump their opinions in, if you're going to let CNN and MSNBC and Fox News and all the big news networks dump their opinions in here, and politicians dump their opinions in here, and your friends and your neighbors and the guy down the street and the guy working on your car and your aunt and your whatever, if you're going to let them all dump their opinions into your head, then you guys are going to find that you're going to have a really, really hard time overcoming some of the stuff that you need to overcome to do this business. Remember Bob Proctor talked about he showed the mind, the subconscious mind, and it was just open when it said you as a baby, you as an infant, and it's just everything just influences it, right? They're accepting everything. Most people are still babies, okay? So really, I think the secret is stop being a baby. That's the secret. Stop being a baby. Shut your mind off to the opinions of the world, okay? The status quo, the stuff that's generally accepted as truth, the stuff that you just kind of do, or the stuff that you're supposed to think, all that stuff, okay? The opinions of the masses. I guess what it really comes down to is this. If it's what most people think, it's probably wrong. If it's what the masses accept, I'm willing to bet it's wrong. Because if you do what most people do, you're going to be like most people, okay? One of my early mentors said to me, average is your enemy. That stuck with me my entire life. Average is the worst thing that can happen to you. It's pernicious because it feels okay. None of us want to be evil, right? We don't want to be bad. We don't want to be dumb. We don't want to be broke. We don't strive for those things. But average feels fine. It's comfortable. I can settle into average, right? That's why it's so pernicious. Average will kill you. Get away from average. Run away from average. The way you do that, opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Pick a few people that you're going to listen to. Nobody else has any weight. Focus on what you want by having a filter. Apply the stuff that you learn and choose what's getting applied and block everything else out, you guys. That's been my biggest secret, the thing that's helped me the most, is just having a filter. So I just want to shout out with you guys and thank you.